What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of
Ball Status.
That's right, folks. The podcast where we talk about the health of business and the business of health. I am joined today by a lot of fine people from the Arms Race crew. You know my sidekick, Meaty Thighs. I don't know what your nickname is today, but you look American.
I want to grab a mic.
You want to grab a mic? He's got a different mic on.
I'm Brad Pittpiper here with the Arms Race crew.
We also got David Dodrell. Say hi.
Hello. I didn't realize that was my introduction.
We have Mr. Julian Smith, my business partner in Arms Race.
Hello, what's going on?
And we have Samantha Sweeney.
Hello.
Who's an Arms Race nutrition athlete. And then we have the guy. No, I'm just kidding. You're going to have to beat that out. Just totally going to have to beat that out. And we have Noel Sweeney, Samantha's husband. Welcome, folks. No, but seriously, you're going to have to beat that out. Maybe just Dave, do you want to take us live just in case there's some, take us live on maybe Arms Race? What do you think about that?
You can do that. Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to take them live on my Arms Race then. How about that? All right. Well, while we get that, do you have Arms Race access?
No.
All right.
I don't get trusted with that stuff.
All right. Somebody take over for a minute while I do like stuff here.
Well, each podcast that we do that's sponsored by America Energy, boom. And the shtick is that we all open our drinks. Thanks for the sponsorship, America Energy. We open the drinks at the same time. But a few people have already started early.
He gave me a new one so
That's
I could
okay.
write myself.
I don't have it, Dave.
Cool
Maybe
club.
you can find out.
What if we just cheers?
There you go. Make the noise.
We can just
So we
cheers.
can,
here we go.
pop our
Ready?
tops.
Just make the...
Wait. Oh, man. I'm telling you.
You're right. The victory with the cigar.
It's nice.
It is nice. It is
Touché.
nice. So,
I'm out.
we have zero agenda for today. We are going to talk about Arms Race stuff.
We might even end this in like 5 minutes.
We might end
We
it
got
in
nothing planned.
We
Just
might
kidding.
end it in 5 minutes. But because you guys have probably watched our podcast before, I want to start by like rewinding about 3 weeks ago because, as you know, we have these core value coins in this table here, and our very first Boss Status podcast, we went through these core values. The core values are things, or they're actually core values, go figure, that we have kind of built over the last, 10, 15 years of doing business, and they mean a lot to our company. So we give out these core value coins when we feel that somebody is going over and above exemplifying one of these core values. So I just want to recognize here publicly, because we did this privately pretty much at the Arnold. I presented Samantha with the Be Humble core value coin. And so the Be Humble core value coin is no matter how successful we get, no matter how many followers we have, no matter how much money we make, we're still very rooted and we value all the other people around us equally. We don't think we're better than them. And Sam exemplifies that every day. So this is just a public acknowledgement of...
Can we get a round of applause for
I
this?
appreciate
Golf
that.
clap.
The most meaningful thing, really, honestly. You have no idea. So.
And then also, we presented Julian and Casey with the Build Community coin. So we have two different coins that represent kind of different types of community building. We have one which is Be a Servant, and that is like external building a community. That is like going out in your community, reaching people that you wouldn't maybe usually talk to, or like just outside being a servant. And then we have Build Community, which is building our in-house community and creating the vibe that makes us who we are, the culture that makes us who we are. And Julian and Casey have done an excellent job with that. I mean, if you ever come to an Arms Race nutrition event, pretty much everyone is wearing Vans and short shorts. So, and also now that we've launched the ambassador program for Arms Race Nutrition, it blew up right off the bat. So that was a huge deal to us. So we presented you guys with the Build Community coin.
Thank you so much. It was awesome. We're going to find a place for it. I'm going to rip a bunch of stuff down at the gym and put that up there. I actually got one of those little savers off of Amazon so it could be framed.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at
I
that.
gotta do
I'm
that
just
now.
saying,
I gotta do
I'm going to
that.
one up you.
I gotta step up my game.
Hers is just sitting on a desk.
It's going
We gotta,
great.
yeah,
I
we
don't
gotta.
know. I gotta come up with something creative.
Well, the ultimate goal is to get all 12.
I was gonna say a necklace of them all.
Hey, it's kind of like Pokemon. You gotta
Oh
catch 'em
man.
all.
Hey, limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Limited edition.
So, David, I'm going to put you on the spot because
Do it.
we were like, let's do a podcast with the Arms Race crew. So I was like, well, what are we going to talk about today, David? So you had a couple things you wanted to discuss with the crew. So we're going to see where this takes. We're probably going to end up talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. So let's get into it. I will say that sometimes we do bring up topics that do get a little controversial here. Sometimes we roll into some politics, and some people don't like to talk about that. That's okay, but we'll probably keep pushing you anyways if we go down that rabbit hole or talk about a million other things. So just this be forewarned.
I'm gonna get up and leave.
Gonna get mad. Yeah. So you know,
Hey,
I was,
can we get on a scale first?
I want to know how tall you are, and if I don't know how tall you are, I'm not gonna do this anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
So fair.
All right, let it rip. Let it rip. I almost
So-
feel like we should talk about that.
I mean, I'm not gonna fight you.
Isn't
on
that
it.
very like current?
It's very current.
Topic,
Let's talk about it at the end.
Okay.
the most
So no,
important
I
thing.
have a question. Like at the end of the day, I think a lot of people always think about starting their own gym. You know, pandemic happened, blah blah blah. So everyone, you know, wants that. They want their own space. Each one of you guys have created your own space in your own different, unique way. So I'm just curious, and you know, Sam, if you want to take us away with it, you know, business of health and health of business. How did you start, and what is your end goal? And, you know, what were the steps to get to your current gym?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Honestly, like Julian and Casey were a huge part of this. Like the influence of just seeing what they had done with their own space was really something that drove us. But we also had
Come a little closer to the mic.
sorry.
Yeah, it's
We
all good.
also had a 5-year plan that we wanted to be able to open a gym within 5 years of starting Sweeney Fitness. So that was in our kind of head sight to just work towards that. So I had been personal training for 5 years, and COVID hit, and we were like, we were without a gym. Our gym kind of closed down that we were training clients out of. So we just,
Is that when you guys started?
That's when we started.
See, I thought it was so much longer.
feel
I
like
thought
that-
you guys had it way before that.
Yeah.
We were at the gym called Los Campeones, and it's a awesome gym in Minneapolis. Good array of equipment, kind of like here
Yeah,
at
it's
Crush It,
unique.
or at the Coliseum. But
Yeah.
we set the 5-year goal. Once COVID happened, like we had nowhere to go. Our business kind of shut down, so we were training people out of our garage. Like we took
Right.
our clientele, we moved people to our garage, and we're like, well, let's take a look and see what else is out there. And we were kind of in the works with you guys working Arms Race, the deal out with that, and you know, really knowing Julian's story. You know, we've known it for a while, but kind of knowing the realistic aspect that like, hey, this is a possibility that we could do. Like
Right.
once we started looking at spaces and stuff like that. So
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like I was much more tentative to it. Like Noel really drove the process because I was like, nope, I'm not ready. Like, and honestly, if COVID hadn't had, you know, made its appearance, we would probably still be training out of Los
we would have stayed at the
Campeones
gym. We liked it. We
and
liked the
just never
owner.
left. Yeah. So it was really a push for us to get out there. And then I had a client base at that time because I was still training clients in person. So
We both did. Don't
Well,
forget that we trained together. Okay, we were both personal trainers
you had a
together.
couple in there. Yeah, you were helping with a lot of other stuff too, though, like finding the building and getting everything set up. So we moved all of our clients over to the gym space, and it was really like this huge blessing for us to have this space for people that we could control, our clients could come into and get a good workout in the midst of all of this going on. So that kind of progressed our business, you know, pretty far in a short period of time, just because we weren't necessarily thinking that, but then within, you know, like a year time frame, we were like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing, and then hit the gas.
So I'm
Wait.
good. Go ahead.
When did you guys transition out of you training people? Because I mean, that's the one
Yeah.
thing I notice about you guys. You
Yeah.
know, you have a time frame to where you don't want people in the gym because you're
Right.
filming,
Right.
Because you're an influencer.
Don't say that.
but you know, nowadays, like when I walk in, and you guys allow me to work out there. I notice you guys got other people training, which is very different than what Julian has, very different what Doug has. So how does that work out with you guys now?
Right.
Like business wise, you know, I mean, I know because we've talked about it before. But you know, maybe other people don't know that this could be an income thing.
Yep.
Well, this
But
is where
how
I
does
was.
that stand up?
This was exactly where I was going to go because we had Brian DaCosta on.
Oh, yeah.
Just a couple episodes ago, and I love talking to people that have taken a non-traditional route of earning a living.
Yeah.
And I would say all you guys have done. I mean, like, who would have thought you guys could be like bodybuilders making money?
Yeah.
Right. And
Never.
so I would love to know a little bit more about the Sweeney Dog. So, and it's very much related to that. So you guys were personal training, and then you opened your own gym. But how did you transition to really monetizing like your following? And you know, what did you do wrong? What do you think you could have done better? You know, like maybe help somebody else out there that's you know, looking to get into it.
Totally. I mean, at the time of like training clients in person, you know, we had this social media side of things, and honestly, we didn't really plan for it to go anywhere. It was never like, we didn't plan to, you know, be putting out workouts every day.
We didn't think Instagram would be like, we didn't think it would create business the way it did. We just were putting workouts out there to workouts out there.
So it was kind of like very just natural the way that it progressed. And then as the business built, we started to get this idea that like, oh, maybe we could provide like a more online side of the in-person training, because we noticed a lot, even my in-person clients wanted that like online aspect. So we kind of transitioned into dabbling in that area, and we did programming and things like that, and that was another side that like grew the business in a totally different realm that we just weren't prepared for, I don't think, but we learned as we went. And so we made a lot of mistakes as we went.
If we were to do it over again, we wouldn't have gone necessarily, like we created, they weren't individualized programs, they were just programs.
You were selling like ebooks.
Ebooks.
So you didn't do, so now you've transitioned to the app, the same app that you're involved
that
with.
Julian's at. And I would say our biggest regret was not doing that earlier. The programs were a great start for us and for both of us, but Julian came up to us like a year before we did the app, when we were creating our own app, and it really fell through. We were pretty deep into it with money and kind of relationships, and it all fell through. It was just kind of one of those, a year into the contract situation with nothing to show for it.
And at that point, we had already stopped training clients in person. So like you asked, David, when we stopped, it was after COVID, and you know, people were coming back, but then we had grown this side of the online business, especially during COVID, because people were all on Instagram looking for workouts, looking for help, all this stuff. So we really took that opportunity, and then it got to a point where it's like you can't give all of yourself to two places necessarily, and I had to come to that realization because I really love working with clients in person. So it's kind of a hard transition.
So you don't have clients anymore?
Not in person anymore. And I you know, we do have people in the gym. Like David said, we have 2 trainers that train clients out of the space. So we give them like, they have time in the morning and time at night, and they bring their clients in. And then we also have like 5 members.
Yep. Do you have a rate that you charge them?
Yep. So we charge them a monthly rate. They just they pay the rate. They train their clients. It's kind of like the setup we had when we were training, which I loved. There was so much freedom to it. Like when I walked into the gym,
I apologize for all the wind noise too, because we are outside and it is windy. So
it's beautiful though.
I mean, maybe
why don't you park the big ass core?
We totally should. Dave, Pubessa, bring her around. Bring her around, Pubessa. We'll put her right here, block that wind.
He's like, madam.
Oh, you're right. Where is Pubessa? Well, when they pull it back in, we'll have them pull it.
Oh, it's dying down a little
bit. All right. Anyways, we're good. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was thinking about that.
So yeah, we were supposed to stop. The app was supposed to be done January 1st of 2021. And we got into, I think we were into October before we finally released the app. But we told clients, you know, hey, we're stopping training clients so that way we can have and focus solely on the app. Yeah. So the app didn't come out. So like we just stopped training and had to like, it was this kind of long transition phase before we finally sat down with the crew with Julian and we're like, yeah, this is a better route that we need to go.
So now you've also launched, you're kind of doing more stuff with clothing now?
Yeah, we have like a really cool, we actually have a really good friend, Danny Levar. He's just an amazing artist all around. And
he's done all of our artwork in the gym.
Yeah,
and stuff,
he's done a lot of our artwork in the gym. And he just came to us with this idea of creating like designs for us, like in a capsule, like every quarter or whatever, bringing new designs. And his designs are like really cool. They're like very different, and he knows us really well. So
yeah, I think he did Patrick's sweatshirt over there.
Flip it around.
Yeah.
Sweet dog.
Yeah.
Right,
so
yeah.
So he did that one. He did. I think we released one last week, and then he'll be doing them a quarterly from here on out.
More of that, which is cool.
Which we haven't done. We've kind of stayed away from merch in general. Like we really didn't want to just throw out crap. So.
Well, and Noel and I are the ones that are like packaging and sending, and
I screw up every order, so.
So what is the next? Don't worry, Julian. We're gonna get to you too.
Dude, I should put some.
And the podcast is over.
No, I'm just kidding. Dude.
No, this is good. This is good.
Care.
So
I like hearing this.
So I got 2 questions. One is, what is next?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys seem to be getting a hold of the entrepreneur thing, and the business of health and the health of business, right?
Right.
So like, what is the next big thing you have? And you talked about goals. So are you guys like disciplined in sitting down and actually like writing out your goals? Do you do it every year? You said you had 5-year goals. So let's talk about like how you are disciplined in planning out like what you're trying to accomplish.
It honestly wasn't even something like sitting down and writing down goals. I knew the importance of it, but I never did it before owning my own business. It was never something that was like a part of my routine. And then it was like when we started the business, I was like, we need to know like where we're going with this. Like we have to have like a plan to be able to grow, and we just really wanted to be on the same page. So now we sit down at the beginning of every year and we write out like five-year goals.
We have a big whiteboard in the office, so
Yeah.
we just sit down and hash out kind of all of our yearly goals, long-term goals, and kind of reevaluate where we're at
And
the
like
beginning of the year. So.
after seeing that works, that produces action and change and like progress, it's something that I'll never not do now. Like we'll always sit down and evaluate and write out, what we want to do and where we want to go. So it's really helped us create direction, I think, too, because, being an entrepreneur, it's like sometimes you just don't know.
It's the cuckhead hitting the. It's the.
I was like, man,
the cuckhead's hitting the.
sounds like a freaking hobo's back there gathering beer bottles. The hell? Jeez, all right, go ahead.
It kind of did. That's pretty good. So all right, so I'm not going to let you off the hook. So what is the next big thing?
Oh, yeah.
Or is there a big thing? Like, have you guys gotten that far yet?
There's a couple things.
There's a couple things. Yeah, I mean,
Can
we
you
only
share?
I suppose. I mean, they're not huge, but for us, like, I mean, Minnesota, we love Minnesota, but it's not a permanent thing. So we're looking at taking the gym, moving it somewhere else, so we can get out of Minnesota. And
Have
all
you
the
had
craziness.
thoughts of where you want to go?
We've kind of talked all over the place. We need to be out in the mountains, though, so just somewhere.
Where you can break your nose and your
Yeah,
wrist, and
right,
the things that
exactly.
you do every weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I feel like a move is definitely on our radar as far as like personal goals that we have, but we also have like
Some small
business stuff that we want to achieve, numbers in terms of like the app and stuff and growing the community and things like that. And that's really been our focus, is just the app now that we have it, and it's such a big part of our lives, and the community that's been built around it, like our Facebook community.
They're killing.
It's just been
They
a
really
fun
are killing.
community to watch grow, I feel like. And so our goals kind of surround like doing more with that
I
community.
want to be in the Sweeney Face Dog community.
You can
Facebook
join.
community.
Face dog.
request.
Face Dog.
Face dog.
I do all the accepting.
Copyrights on it.
I do all the accepting, so just throw an ad in and I'll get you in there.
The
Yeah.
Sweeney Face Dog.
Dude, you should totally delete it. Decline it and send me a screenshot. I need that.
Nope.
Nope. Can't have it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into something that both of you guys have talked about a little bit, and it's related to being an influencer. I know we hate that term, but like when I be an influencer, I mean, it's like you have a lot of eyes on you all the time, and you have to worry about what you say. You have to worry about how you act for the most part, right? And you guys are both really authentic. You're not different behind the scenes than you are on your social media. But one of the things you guys have talked about is like, it can be hard, right? And like, that's one of the reasons we came out with the Clarity product on the arms race side, which is, kind of like a brain health. And we don't claim it's like an antidepressant or anything like that, but it does help your mood and your ability. So like the internet can get you to a dark place. And like, it's funny, recently I've had a couple trolls coming from an incident, and honestly, people like, it doesn't bother me because I literally just delete. Like I don't even have time to watch anything. I said, Dave, should I watch this? And he goes, nah, probably not, or at least not at night. So I'm just like delete. Like
Definitely
delete.
not at night. I don't know.
No.
It's like if you want to sleep, no, just and then I'm just like delete. So like maybe I'll start with you, Julian. Like how do you handle like all that crap? Do you have to like be disciplined about? I mean, you guys live on your phones because it's your business, right? Like, do you have to be disciplined about turning off your phone, or what disciplines do you use to kind of stay in a good headspace about all this?
Well, it's taken me a while to get good at it. I used to have a bad problem when you go down the rabbit hole of like compounding your following and it's growing day after day. You're like, well, I'm not going to stop. I stayed lean for years just to maintain and grow and put out quality content, and it's just never ending. And then, once it started slowing down and you can kind of look back at it, you're like, man, almost that entire growth process was almost like a blur. It's kind of like when you're not present. If you're at your kids' play and you're watching them do their thing, but you're thinking about your workout or you're thinking about other stuff, you're not present. You were there, but you didn't take it all in. And I really realized that how much work I put into my social media and phone and being on there and being a stickler about it really got me where I wanted to be work-wise and life-wise and what I want to do. But it kind of me up. It was really like it was like a...
Fucked you up in what sense?
In a way where it's like you put all this time towards a screen and you miss opportunities when you're
Present with somebody.
Kid's going to graduate from high school in 2 years. And I'm like, oh, I met Cameron when he was 9. He's now 16. He's going to be gone in 2 years. And the time period of him coming into my life with Casey was when we were grinding to the top. So now we have a chance to slow down, and Cam's almost out of the house. You know what I mean?
So would you have done anything differently, or how could you?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. I'll tell anybody that I've done. One guy that's on the same page with me on this is Bradley Martin. We've chatted about this before because he's the same way. He's like, this is hard, man. When you're a guy who does a 405 squat on a hoverboard, he goes, you got to top that. And he goes, that's why I post every other week. This is back in the day when we were chatting and stuff, but he's like, it's hard. Same with us. It's like, I don't post viral content, but I post informative. How much more can you come out with? You know what I mean? And then you're like, okay, well, I've roped everything into this is now what I do for work. And if the content's running dry, it's kind of scary. You know what I mean? And you start thinking about other stuff too. But
well, so I think, and you go through different phases of life. Like you weren't you didn't have your young son at that point, right? Like when you first started. So now things are different. I think it brings up a good point, and that's people talk about this all the time. Like, you got 7 businesses and all these stores and employees and all this different stuff. Like, how do you balance it? And I say, I don't.
Yeah.
Right. Like there is, unfortunately, there is no, I think somebody's getting a lesson here. There is no real balance over the short term. So just like you said it in a roundabout way, is really that I view balance over a longer period of time. So like I joke, in 8 years, I want to come in here like when I want to kind of work out and then walk through the office, kick a couple things over, and then bounce.
Yeah.
And so it's like Pat's sitting here like, yeah. But it
happens these days.
We're getting there.
We're getting close.
We're getting close. That's the goal, right? And so it's like, there's a lot of sacrifices up front, but it's for a longer term balance. So like I might have to sacrifice some shorter term things for that longer term opportunity. And I think the other key is like and I'm not terrible, but I need to get better at being fully present when I'm doing something else.
Totally.
Right? Because it's hard to shut off my mind.
Well, putting my phone away has been like one of the best things I could do. And going, honestly, just to tie back in the kids and everything, I think having the trolls, which you were talking about before, like when they come in, you just don't even have time for it. It's pretty interesting how much you don't care about other people's opinions. Because I didn't really care before. Because at the end of the day, it's like when you click your phone off, I'm like, like what? There's nothing in front of you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You'll never meet any of these people,
Right.
But when you have like a kid or you have a family or you have like a community of people that like, oh, these guys care about me, I care about them. Yeah. You don't really care that much anymore. Like, let's say you were not a nobody, but a big deal in the industry, but like not very many friends, and you're just kind of floating around on your own doing your thing. Then it would feel very weird if like somebody trolls you or you're like, damn man, I'm not coming after you. Why is this happening? But when you have that community, holy shit.
Go figure that coin.
Yeah, brought it in. But yeah, just that whole thing helps out too. That's what Tommy helped out with. But the social media took a while to figure out for me.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge topic. I constantly talk about it. I feel like it's definitely hard. I feel like my biggest fear is not being present with people in the real world. And I know like more and more our world and culture goes that way. And then the more we step that way, the more I get like, oh gosh, like I don't want to end up there. And then that almost like spirals me into kind of more of an obsession with it. Like do enough, but don't do too much, and all of that like balance. And I feel like I'm still figuring out. I feel like I've come a long way, but it's...
So do you like, is it because you like, do you worry about, like, do you get trolls?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like, what are your trolls? Are you like men who are pigs, or
no,
like people sending you dick pics and stuff?
That I definitely have.
I open all those. Like she usually will see like because they're blurred out, so I'll generally kind of look.
You're like, no, here we go.
The sad part is like the sad part is like these guys don't even try. Like it's like they take a picture of a lucid, and it's like that's your
like,
best
bro,
effort. Like, come on.
Sam's worth more than that picture.
No. But most of it is like,
I would say a lot of women,
Is it like hating on your physique because you look so good?
Like, or you're not natural. I've gotten a lot of that, or like, that stuff. And I get so triggered by that stuff because I just don't like untruthfulness. I'm like, but you're wrong. So like, I want to be able to tell you're wrong.
So you get like hundreds and hundreds of these nice comments, but you reflect on the one bad one.
What would you do if somebody came over to your page and they were like, I could totally see that she's natural. I think she's totally natural. I feel like that would offend me more than someone calling me on gear. If someone's like, this dude's natty as man, don't you think? And there was like a banter going, dude, totally. Look at his delts. I'd be like, bro.
I always say you're either a shitty natural or you're on drugs. I'd rather people think that I was on drugs than shitty natural. I
remember Casey did a post back in the day, and she was like, she was pretty much talking about how like in social media and bodybuilding today, the shitty looking natural bodybuilder is telling the truth, and anyone who looks good is on gear. I mean, that's like a fact. I can't even think about like a weirder distinction
Julian,
than that.
I got an idea.
Tell me.
Next year, we're going on a ton of shit.
I was just gonna
And
say,
we're gonna prove everyone wrong.
I talk about that all the time. I'm like, I'm gonna be Evan Centopani in like 6 months. Oh man.
Exactly.
They're like, well, touche.
Look at these suckers. They thought we were.
We really got them. All my hair's gone. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's good perspective. That's how I need to look at it.
All right, so let's jump into another topic that can be a little bit controversial. So you guys have both. Well, I know Noel, you've talked about this, and I know Julian has talked about it a little bit. Okay. In dealing with some of the anxieties that are put on you, let's talk about some weed. Can we talk about some weed?
Yeah,
go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Okay, so no, like I was never. There we go.
Let's turn this way.
And the reason being because like I was never a smoker. I'm still not a smoker. I love cigars and stuff, but I'm not like a weed smoker. And it was always, growing up like, oh, like don't do drugs and it's weed and it's all. What are we pointing at?
Later.
Oh yeah. Oh. He's making sure everyone. Okay, you're making sure everyone's lit.
Back to when you're done. I need
and it had this just terrible stigma, right?
Yeah. It still does.
Yeah, it does. It does have a negative stigma. And I mean, I got a comment the other day on one of my posts. I was like, "You're with that weed smoker Julian Smith or something like that."
Oh my God,
and I was like,
"Well done."
I was like, "Well, first of all, I was like,
well done.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, that doesn't make him a bad person, right?" And I was like, "Delete." But anyways, it's like has this bad stigma, right? And there's also some legality around it. Some states it's legal, some states it's not. So let's talk about. I want to know, like it's public that both you guys smoke. Why do you smoke? Like, what do you get from it? Because clearly there's got to be some really good benefit besides just getting high, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you do it on a regular. Like, can we talk about that and like why you do it and how you and like. Do you have to deal with that? Have you had a struggle to justify doing that? Or like,
I think it's one of those things where, honestly, like weed helps me in a way where it's like I don't even get high anymore. You know what I'm talking about, Noel? Noel will say that. Anybody who smokes weed regularly, you don't get high anymore. So if anyone sees me nowadays or you and they see that you smoke and then it's like, an hour later you're out driving around and someone's like, dude, I would be on my ass like if I did that. Well, it's like once you get past a certain point when you smoke, the giggliness, the laughing, all of that, like, whoa. I mean, I say this all the time. When I used to do like a single bong rip back in the day when I was first getting into it, I would seriously go, I got to get to my bed quick or I'm going to, oh man. And I'd be like trying to get there fast because it would just hit you so fast. But I think my favorite thing about weed is your ego's removed. I think that, that's why, that's honestly a great point. Like, that's why, we've talked about some of the trolls and stuff. Like, it's not that I don't give a shit about that person. It's not that I don't
so high
like
he doesn't care.
Maybe you should smoke some, bro. I think it's one of those things where it's just not that big of a deal. You see clearly. It's, somebody it's kind of like worrying about dying. It's going to happen while you're worrying about something that you can't even change. So I was kind of taught that at a young age. So the things that are a big deal, like find ways to don't worry about them.
Are you worried about, probably drinking excessive alcohol is way worse for you than weed on
I
a
think so.
on a physiological
Yeah.
thing, but it's just way more accepted. Like I'm not a big drinker either, right?
But it's
and-
advertised everywhere. It's on that billboard. It's,
Yeah.
there's liquor store everywhere around, so it's just more culturally acceptable.
Do you have any concern that the weed is going to prevent you from reaching any goals or like shorten your lifespan or any of that?
No.
So, all the research that I've done, there's no negative side effects in regards to like your health like that at all. You could totally smoke too much weed and have stomach problems. You could smoke too much weed and have abdomen pain. There's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, you overdo water, you're going to have an issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
What about hormones? Don't you hear that there's increase in estrogen from like do you,
And-
especially as a bodybuilder who's
Yeah,
jacked?
but I've
so, like,
also seen some studies about how it actually produces more testosterone. Have you seen that too?
I have, yeah. And then I think it's all just where you get your source, or everybody has a study out there in some respect.
You heard it here, folks. You don't need gear, weed.
Yeah. So one thing.
so you're not natty.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
100% not. But one thing I think is important about like smoking weed and understanding that it's like a little different down the line is when your mind is a little different down the line is like you don't get lit up as much. But when you train when I smoke just the right amount, like I feel like you almost get obsessed with like the pain you're going through. It's hard to explain. Like when you're getting into your workouts, like, you shoot for 10 reps, and then before you know it, you're like, I'm going to do partials for another 10. And then I'm just going to sit here with the weight and hold and let the blood rush. And it's like,
So you can get high before you train?
I smoke before every workout.
every workout.
Besides legs. So
I
here's
wonder why harness
not
is so
legs?
good. What? Let's
don't do it
tell the
before
people
legs?
what we really put in harness.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
You don't smoke before legs?
So what I was going to say is the only thing that I don't smoke when I lift heavy. So if I'm dipping into low rep ranges, if I'm dipping into like, man, I want to hit like, reps of like 3 to 5, and this is no tempo, this is like moving weight, I don't smoke. Because I think it when your ego's down, you're not as aggressive, you're not as intense, you're calm, and that's a no-no for me.
Well, I'm going to try that next time.
Yeah.
For my next leg day, I'm skipping
I have
out.
said that for so long.
Yeah. I call
So do you smoke before you train all the time?
Every workout. Yeah, I have for the last 5-6 years.
What about you, Sam?
No, I don't. I don't, but I'm the same way. Like, if I'm gonna get under a bar, I need to like fully trust myself. I gotta have like full confidence, full clarity. So for me, it's more of like a relaxation, like turn my brain off.
I couldn't
for a
even
little
possibly
bit.
imagine.
I think to get into like kind of why we got, both Ju and I were older when we both started smoking. I was 26. I just got out of the military. You were, I think, 26 too?
Yeah, had
right?
to have been, yeah.
And I think it legalized in your state too before you even tried it, correct?
Dude, my dad brought me a weed plant. He's like, guess what's legal? And I was like, holy shit, you've been lying to me. It was like, wow, everyone kind of does. I think when you find out that your parents smoked and they were just kind of making it nice, and you're like,
Sid.
yeah,
He's the man.
Yeah, so I think we came into it with a little bit more mature mindset. I think I had just gotten out of the military and I had some issues, coming out of the military. So to me, it was just introduced to me as like, hey, you need to, try this if you want to relax a little bit. So I did. And I had this kind of a huge stigma in my own brain. I think that's a lot of people have a stereotype. And so, yeah, I took it for the first time and instantly I knew that I was okay with it. I was like, this is not at all what I had thought in my mind. And so, yeah, I use it to kind of help control a little bit of my anxiety because, post-military stuff can get a little heavy. So, yeah, I just I found that. And instead of the VA was prescribing me a good amount of pills. And, like, to be open, there was some stuff that, like, I couldn't even
Come on, we're open on this podcast.
I couldn't perform. I couldn't finish. And so I was like, this is crap. I'm getting fed, pharmaceuticals that aren't making me feel good. And I can take a natural plant and feel completely normal and happy and open. And like you said, you're a little bit more aware and your ego is just down. And it just, to me, I've had some of the best open conversations around a table with people and getting to know them. And to me, I'm like,
you get deep on life too.
Yeah.
Like I'll sit there and be like,
totally.
well, I mean, you just get, it's fun.
Well, we can only because when we what does Bella Fuma say about sharing the leaf or something like that about cigars? There's something about when you sit around and smoke cigars,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's the
Opens
same.
you up.
it's the same
It
thing.
just-
it's
it's
communal. It opens up conversation and
Yeah.
you get to know each other more and you just give somebody a little bit more openness and you learn some things.
You know what I will say though? I don't think it's for kids at all. Under 21,
100%.
no way.
Well,
No
so
way.
let me.
The brain's developed.
I was actually going to ask you this because I mean, you have a young son, and well, shoot, you have a 16-year-old.
16-year-old,
and
yeah.
you know his friends are smoking.
Yeah.
So how does that conversation go? I mean, like I got 2 young boys that are going to be pressured to do certain things.
So
like, how does that go? Because I mean, I'm with you. I'm totally against that.
Yeah.
But like,
so here's the thing: when it's legal in your state, it's easy because I tell Cameron, I go, weed is just like alcohol. You can't have it till you're 21, and if I catch you doing it, you're going to be in trouble, just like anybody under 21 would. Because when it's legal, right? It's not like you're finding an illegal drug. That's deep shit.
yeah.
But if it's legal and when you're 21, you're allowed to do it. 21, man. That's when you can.
So
do it.
you
I didn't
ha-
start doing it till I was 26.
So what does Cam say to that? Like, does he understand that?
So
Or-
he has friends that'll ask him sometimes about the weed and everything and bring it up, but I tell
like your dad smokes and
my dad smoke. We smoke.
No, I mean like he says like his friends will say, "Oh, hey, your dad smokes. Why don't
Yeah.
you smoke?" Or
Well, no, I tell Cam, I go, you don't want this. I go, you don't want this right now. I go, you don't want to be fogged up. I go, you're not depressed. You don't have work that's stressing you. I go, you don't want to do any of this. And it's on the same topic of like anything. Like, don't take pro hormones. Don't take any of that. Like, just work hard, and you could see that progress when you're young. You don't need any of the kind of stuff that people think that they do just to try. But yeah, with weed, I tell them, I go, the only reason I go outside is because you can't smoke inside like you could drink a beer. If I was drinking right now, I'd be sitting right next to you laughing at the game. But if I smoke next to you, you could get it in your system. If I drank next to you and somehow you absorbed alcohol, I'd be like, maybe going to do that outside too.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of easy like that. And I think Cam, when I'm not going to say like I'm the most successful person in the world because I hate saying that kind of shit, but when you have somebody
but I am the most successful person.
I'm just saying, as long as you're not living under a bridge. When I saw that my dad smoked,
Yeah.
and how he built a trucking company over the course of over 40 years and nationwide, and I see he's a lot like me. You're from the South, but you're out here, and you've got your hick tendencies like the rest of us out here, and he had that like straight and narrow vibe forever, man. Like, and then when you see that he smoked too, you're just kind of like, okay, like it's not a bunch of drug dealers doing this shit. Like, if you're one of those kids who is not motivated and you don't have a bunch of stuff in front of you and you start smoking, it's gonna keep your ass on the couch a lot longer than you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if like I'll smoke and be like, I gotta fucking go, and then it's like with weed, it's like if someone interrupts your high, I'm kind of back to normal like that.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're drunk where you're like, dude, I gotta get better. It's like if someone walked in and was like, dude, there's a shooter, I'd be like, I'm back to normal. We gotta assess the situation. But it's just a little different. It's hard to explain.
All right, well let me throw it back to you guys.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about like ground rules or anything like that. I don't even know. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh, I thought it was a bee.
Man. So maybe this is a completely inappropriate question. If it is, we can probably always cut this out of the thing.
Bring it on.
So you guys don't have kids.
No kids.
Is that something that like maybe down the line, or have you
Yeah.
thought about that?
Yeah, we've definitely talked about it.
Are we allowed to talk about this? I know some people
Oh,
get
yeah.
super weird about
No,
this.
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
we're not like the defensive type. They're like, oh my God,
Why
yes,
don't you have 5 kids?
Do you know that we've been trying for the last 6?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's just something we kind of said the business was our baby for, the moment we started it. We're like, we need, we told our family when we got married, we're like 2 to 5 years, we'll have kids. And then
I said 2 to 10.
oh, is it 2 to 10? It stayed that way since we've gotten married. We keep saying the same thing, but our priorities keep shifting. I don't want to be a complete, grandpa by the time we have kids, but I think we just have to find when the timing's right. But for right now, we just kind
We've
of
definitely
focus.
talked about it. It's definitely in the future, and probably
So
not,
you want kids?
Not so far in the
Just
future.
one.
We just want one kid.
Yeah. That's
Which is
trust
might
me.
be mean.
I
know,
think
I don't know.
we have
just one is just
Tommy
wonderful.
and Cameron, but like we're gonna be done after Tommy.
Yeah.
Or Tommy, it's the last kid. We don't want another.
I just think in this
You know?
day and age, in this world we live in, I think it's tough to raise good kids. And
Especially according to the Chinese rules, you're only allowed to have one anyway.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
we're
like,
in-
By the off chance that I move there, I'm golden.
that's changing.
Yeah.
you think that's
Oh,
changing?
it's changing.
I think you just get taxed more or something. That's probably what it is. All right, so like then
Yeah.
you're gonna have to have these same conversations with your kids. I mean, I
Definitely.
think that's a pretty. I didn't even look at it like that. Like if you live in a state where it's illegal, like why don't even have this conversation with them? But
Yeah.
like
Right.
if you're in a state where it's legal when you're 21, is that what it? I don't even know the legal
it's
the weed
21.
laws. It's 21.
Yeah, tobacco's 18, I
What's
think.
North Carolina? Is
it's not medical or recreational.
It's just illegal.
Yeah, we
It's
suck.
decriminalized, so
Oh.
you can get a $200
so
fine.
decriminalize is very sneaky
funny.
because it's
It
just
is.
kind of like saying, "Hey, have some weed, but not too much."
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like better than medicinal or whatever because it's like you need a card for that, but you could seriously go grab some weed, walk down the street and get in trouble, and they'll slap you on the wrist. It's
They'll give you a $200 fine.
Yeah.
A misdemeanor.
and
I think that's
and
it.
then you high five and walk away.
But you can't get it from a resource that's
Reliable.
Yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, weed's always easy to get, relatively. Every time that I've thrown it on my story or something, someone shows up with. Well, I guess that's a little different. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
So you're saying that that's what I should do? Hey, I moved down to a new place. Like,
I got you, bro.
Hey, I'm
I
at
got a dude in New York.
1415 Wilkesboro Highway. If anybody,
Did you ever buy from that guy?
wants to stop-
Yeah.
The dude in New York?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story about? No, hold on. We'll do that later.
No, I feel like we should talk about this.
Well,
Just do it.
so I'm in
Yeah, that's the guy.
New York with Casey, and I think we're staying there. We're just doing like a mini vacation after we did some event over at the Warhouse Gym. So went over to New York, sightseeing, doing our thing, and I put on my story. I'm like, I don't have any weed. Is there anybody out there that can help me out? And this guy wrote me, and
That's so
he was,
sketchy.
dude. So listen. So all of a sudden he writes back, and he's like, "Yeah, I can meet you outside your hotel. I know exactly where you're at." And what was his name?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. So anyway, he shows up, and it's like, he must have been like a 6'5", dreaded black guy, but he was dressed really nice, and he came up on a scooter. Like a rental scooter. And I was like, the hell? And he actually followed me, so he knew who I was clearly because he responded to it, right? So he pulls up and he goes, this is like sick. This is like the weird business to make money. He goes, it's decriminalized here. And he goes, so I sell weed to all the people that visit. And he goes, and I don't want to spend money on cars. He goes, so I just rent the little scooters and deliver stuff and drop it off and walk away. And he goes, and it turned into a massive business for him. And he was so
like a briefcase he opens up. What
dude,
would you like?
he was like the nicest. We talk regularly.
Yeah.
He's my
So you got a guy.
I got a guy.
You got a guy.
And I put that number out to the homies if they need it. He'll mail it to you. Totally.
Do you get like a influencer code for that? You got a kickback?
10% off.
Dude, what's cool about him, he tosses in those massive 100 milligram edibles.
Yeah.
He's like, just try them. Let me know what you think. Anyway, that's my story.
Yeah.
Super nice drug guy.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Dave, do you have are you live on Arms Race over there?
Oh,
Do you have a
tip of the tongue.
do you have any questions in there? Or? What did you tell them?
Hey.
Well, if you guys have any questions for us, we're live there. Dave, are you live? Were you live?
I joined there live.
You joined there live?
Yep.
All right.
Just to.
Mr. Meaty Thas.
Yeah, I got a question. Yeah. So, your business partner, besides Doug, is Casey.
Yes.
Your business partner are each other.
Yep.
Sam and I, we don't own the business, but we work together.
Definitely.
So, could you guys talk about how you manage your relationship, your marriage within working together and being in business together?
You go first. You started yours with Casey first.
She's not here, so this is a lot easier.
It's gonna be good.
Noel's got some
No, hold
pressure.
on. I know she's on the line.
Yeah, she's
So I'm watching what I
definitely on the
say.
line.
Yeah.
Hi, Casey.
So
Hi,
Casey, she says it all the time in her bio. It says the official emergency brake for Julian Smith. You know what I mean? She pumps the brakes on a lot of stuff. But what's cool about Casey, honestly, one of the probably the smartest person I've ever met, and she has her head on so straight in regards to doing the right thing that it's kind of like when we talked when we first got into business, where you didn't mention anything about money. You just mentioned about it's going to be successful because the products will be good.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I know we're going to make money eventually.
And you
but
at the
it's like-
time had an offer from another massive company that was saying only talking about money.
Yeah,
And
only
so-
money, and it was just that's not how we are. Long term, we don't like thinking like that. We're like, how could we make this as like the best possible so it goes forever, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And Casey, we come up with ideas, and instead of people, let's say you had an idea for a website, or you had an idea for an ebook, or you had an idea for this, like most people would find a way to hire somebody to do that, hire a person to do this, or get somebody to put this together. And Case, she built the entire first Daily Pump, the quadguy.com membership site.
Wow.
Did it all. Like, she did it all. There was nobody she talked to. She did the research and checked it out, but I mean, it's just, that was the level of hard work she did. So I would come up with these ideas, and kind of like how you guys talk, it's like, I have this crazy rough draft that gets you here, and then she tries to do that.
Yeah.
More
You know what I mean?
direct
Makes it, yeah, exactly. So I think it's a really good combo. If she was like me, we'd have no money. And if we were like her, if I was just like her, we'd probably start nothing new. You know what I mean? She told me back in the day, and she'll laugh about this, she didn't ever want to do anything besides belts. So she wanted Clifford to only be a belt co. That's why the belts say belt co, because because we only wanted to do belts ever. And then when we had the option to do clothing, she was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Now it's one of our main businesses. She also said, I never want to get into supplements because they sucked back then.
Yeah.
Everything that influencers had were white labeled.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you get into it. So she's definitely not, she's open-minded to the stuff she says that she does not want to do, which is big too. Because as long as you can put the information out there the right way, then you're good to go. But there's plenty of ideas I bring up to her, and she's like, no, for the 5th time, we're not going to be doing that.
Well,
You know what I mean?
in the book Good to Great, it talks about the hedgehog concept, and the hedgehog always avoids getting eaten or attacked by the fox because the hedgehog just does what it knows best, and that's just to hide in its hole.
Yeah.
So sometimes in business, it's knowing what you are good at or what you could be the best at.
Dude, I'm not a boss. You know what I mean? I'm not a boss. I'm not a CEO. I don't want to. Not really. You know, I would say, oh, you're in trouble. I'm going to talk to Doug and relay what Doug said back. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, I know.
Yeah. I feel like you just kind of, I don't know. There's people that are smarter. You know what I mean? And when we got into business together, I'm like, people, it's like when you watch Shark Tank and you're like, bro, you're getting Mark Cuban and you're bitching for 5%. Get the off of this thing, man. Like, I'm so willing to get involved with the right partner to take it to the next level that you should be willing to get rid of some of your thing. Like, I value you so much, you should have this much. Not nickel and dime your partner who you're supposed to be in business with for 20 years. Right. You think that 2%, 5% is going to mean anything if you're in business for 20 years and you're making millions? Yeah. Probably not, right?
Well, this is something that I said, and this is just, it's details of how we run our business. The one thing I said to Julian, literally like last night or yesterday, I said, like, one of the things I really appreciate about you, and it's just, we're lucky enough to be in a good financial position because we have other businesses and other income streams that I said, you know, in scaling an inventory rich business, you know, it's like having equity is not what everyone thinks. You know, like Julian and I don't have salaries.
Yeah, we don't make monies.
We don't make, like, and every penny we make, we want to continue to grow and put this, I mean, this thing's on a rocket ship. So like, you know, you hold $1 million in inventory and then you grow your sales by X. Well, guess what? Next year you got to hold $2 million in inventory, and then next year $3 million. Well, guess what? Julian and I pay taxes on that extra $1 million, but we didn't take that money home.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people misunderstand. And it's good to have a partner that is equally yoked in that sense. So you're not working with somebody who's always like, yo, bro, where's my money? Where's my money?
That's stuff that we don't even think about, you know, like we don't even know this stuff, you know, coming from the outside. So it's you know, that's even crazy to hear from the outside.
Yeah, I mean,
super cool.
I mean, there's periods of time where it's many months until we can even say, hey, should we take a little draw now or something? Because like, you know, when you're working with a partner like GNC who's putting you everywhere and they order a ton of product, it's just like, well, we got to pay for that somewhere, you know, and we don't want to go into massive debt to do it. So like,
and think about how many people, even on Shark Tank or, you know, any of these shows, I always say Shark Tank because it's the only one I can think of, but like anytime you've talked to somebody about business, not very many businesses make money immediately. So big issues that people make is right when they get into business, they want to make money from that business. So they start taking that salary, but it's like, then no money's going back in. And it's like, why didn't you make any money? Because you're paying yourself every fucking month. You know what I mean? And then, like Doug said, if you have different things, like you guys will have multiple revenue streams. So then when you start something new, it's like, I'm not going to take any money out of that because I got my monies over here. And then I'll let this build up. And then when I feel like taking money out of that, 1 year, 2 year, a month, whenever it is, then you can. But
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that really sets Arms Race apart from a lot of people. I think in the supplement industry right now, it's let's build up a brand to sell it.
Yeah.
That's not the goal for Arms Race, and that's why I love to be
I'd
a part
be sad if, like, you know, I know we talk about, you know, rebranding and doing certain stuff like that and other things, but it's still Arms Race, you know? And it would be very strange to see somebody else doing it one day. Like, I don't know who started Optimum back in the day and who started BSN, but I'm sure it's not the original guy. Like, who was the guy with bodybuilding.com? DeLuca?
DeLuca.
When he was gone, it was like, oh, kind of an era. Like, that's weird. Does that feel weird to look at bodybuilding.com and someone else is kind of run it into the ground or some whatever? But I don't know.
Yeah, to kind of go back to your question, Patrick, to really compliment you and Casey. I mean, you guys kind of set an example, you know, with kind of the way we kind of wanted to work. You know, we saw you two working together, and I was working for USAA, a military insurance company, and I encouraged Sam to go, you know, start her own thing. She was kind of trying to figure out her next steps after she was a hairstylist for, I think, like 4 or 5 years. But yeah, I just encouraged her. And like, we saw the way Casey and you did it, and we're just like, I remember commenting on one of your lives one time. I think it was after you started your own business. And I was just like, I think you guys really motivated both of us to kind of push us to do this, because it was just,
Yeah, and it's definitely not an easy thing all the time. Like I'll say that we definitely have our, certain things that we know, and like you said, it's knowing your strengths and knowing your role. And I think it took us a little bit to find what that was. And I am
Sam's very content. She'll she would just be happy with the clientele that she had, and she would have just done that the rest of her life. And
But isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, and that's what exactly.
I think it's kind of the humble thing. When you're humbled and chilling, you're down to your roots. Like, I'll go outside and throw eggs out of trash can. I'm like, that's pretty fun.
I know.
Oh man. So it's like anything on top of like,
Exactly.
the 35 grand a year that I need to live.
Yes, exactly.
It's like that's all icing on the cake. So.
And that's what I feel like Noel does for me is like he pushes me to actually take action. I do so much planning. I plan until like
She's
we
got
can't
lists
plan
every single
anymore.
day.
And
Yeah.
it does. What I realize is it does you no good when you don't take action on it, and that's kind of what Noel really helped me with. And we're getting better at that. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah.
So I got a question within that. So, and this goes to both you guys. Has there been anything that the other has disagreed, but you felt so in your heart that you just had to make a stand, and you're like, no, this is what my passion is. I agree with this. This is what I want to do. Like, has there ever really been that to where you won't accept the other person?
You stand on the hill and die on it, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
This isn't my hill to die on.
Like, I believe in
Yeah.
this. This is going to happen. You're not telling me no.
Go ahead.
Do you have something?
Mine was the app. I like.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
The moment that we started our business, I was like, once we kind of realized that there was a market there for us to kind of utilize the online platform. I wanted to go the app route right away. The daily workouts, kind of like what she was doing and Julian had already done. So that was kind of that was my.
I dug my heels in on that for a
hey,
long
dude,
time.
programs.
Casey deleted like 4 emails from Playbook. She was like, they're weird.
We literally
Swear to God, she was like,
we did the
they're not
exact
weird.
same thing.
I think what she said, because it was just like they were being really nice, but kind of like, hey, let's get on a call. Let's get on a call. And when people like we've had
Thirsty.
Yeah.
Thirsty.
But it was legit. And finally, she was like, all right, I'll hear you out. And she was like, wow, that's pretty sweet. You know what I mean? And it turned into something obviously a lot more and better. But yeah, sometimes those opportunities that seem a little weird, you're like, I might revisit that down the line. You know what I mean?
I learned my lesson.
Yeah, because Case and I, back when we had just her and I working on the app or the membership site, it was easy. I mean, I talked to her, and she fixed something if there was an issue, and now there's a, whoa, we're losing it, bro. Whoa. Okay. Sorry, we had a rogue chair. But
That would have been bad.
yeah, it's now when you get more cooks in the kitchen, kind of gets a little crowded, so pressure's off of her and I, but it's harder to sometimes get stuff done. Not in a bad way at all. It's just sometimes it feels good when it's like I'm talking to the only other person involved with this whole thing. I don't need to talk to Doug, who needs to talk to David, who needs to check with the person at GNC. It's just sometimes when things are easier, it's just like,
This chair is not cooperating.
we're going to look over there and he's going to be across the street.
It's windy out here and the chair's blowing
He's
across
still
the parking
blowing.
lot.
Oh my God, Dave.
Aaron, no.
Oh, no, Aaron, you had one job to hold that camera still.
Sorry.
We good?
No, cool.
So did you have any things that you?
So I was going to say my hill to die on were probably the businesses that we have, right? And that's not saying that she pushed back. It's just there's a lot of things that she's ended, that I come up with. There's a few things that you guys brought up potentially doing other things coming up down the line. We've talked about opening a sub shop. I actually have, we've talked, Casey and I want to do a retail weed shop down the line.
Oh,
and
Noel will get him with you on that.
let me
bro,
know.
hey. No, look at me now. It's kind of already happening, so we'll talk after this, right?
Well,
But
you just made us.
yeah. But imagine how many other things like that I brought up and Case kind of slams down. And there's been some hills to die on, and it turns into what they are. But it's only because Case sees that it could potentially be that. Because you're probably like me. If you have a good thing going, it's like, I don't want to just add anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to just have 10 businesses. One's bringing in this, one's bringing in that. It's like, you got to pick and choose because the more you do, the more you're spread out. That's why I like the reoccurring revenue with the app where it's like you're posting to one thing and everybody gets it. You know what I mean? That's a key thing. Back when I used to train and I would do, expensive plans. If you're working with someone for that long, it's like, dude, what do you think's going to happen when the economy takes a shit? You think they're dropping the $6 monthly workout, or do you think they're dropping the $800 program from you? You're gone, bro. Yep. So when it comes to, I told Case back in the day, we get one sign up a day for a couple years. We're never working again. and it just does. You know what I mean? But people don't see long term.
So how much? This is curious, and maybe you don't want to share the details of your business. And I'm not going to ask you like how many subscribers you have, but like, what is the churn there? Like, because they are relatively cheap. So, I mean, $6 a month. Shit, you can't. What is yours? 12.
It's $14.99.
$14.99. So like they're relatively cheap.
Yep.
And it's like like I don't even know how many subscriptions. I
Even
don't
though
even know what I'm
Julian's cheaper, you
subscribed
can
to.
still come to ours if you want to. I mean, it's still like,
By the way, don't forget.
Yeah.
but his is great
both.
too. Yeah.
Both.
Wait, so you can get them both? How's that work?
So through Playbook, you can actually buy a bigger package and basically say,
You
I'm
get
going to
everyone?
go see Sam because I support her, but I want to go see Julian too, and I might want to go see Dana, and I might want to go see Leslie. Leslie, you know, on the she's with Playbook
Yeah, she's
too.
also,
Playbook and Charles.
I don't think I knew
Or
that.
Playbook,
That's awesome.
Leslie and Charles, athletes of ours. So, lost my train of thought. Sorry.
How do you get access to all that? Do you just pay like a bigger monthly fee and you get access to everyone? Is that or
No,
like,
no. It's for like the people that sign up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's a bunch of different tiers. That's why it was really easy back when it was just Case and I. It was $6 for a month or $60 for the year. Now it's like you can, if you buy directly through me through the link in my bio, it's $6. If you don't know who I am and you go to the App Store, it's $14.99.
That
If
explains
you
so
go-
much now. I'm like,
you-
why am I been being
That's
overcharged
right.
forever?
Always gotta go through the link, man.
I always go through the link.
Yeah. Well, like, where are you going? Are you going over the f***ing Apple? What are we talking about here?
So I get, my question is like, so do you get a lot of churn, like people in and out, like on a daily basis? Like you lose some, you win some, like
There's
there's a lot of churn.
I mean, I can't speak for their numbers, but you know, you'll always, at the end of the day, the types of workouts that like we do, I feel like it's always trending upwards, even if there's nulls, because if you look at the grand scheme of like, people are looking at like, you know, a stock, right? I'm thinking mutual fund in 3 years, like you might have all this shit, but in 5 years it's doing this.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's been trending up for a while. We had obviously a big slam with COVID. I do only gym shit, and if anybody wants to get into bodybuilding shape off of bands, you won't.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't even put it up there. I was like, I'll put some stuff together for you. I go, but if you're trying to look, it felt fake.
Right.
Oh, do this, because it did not build my body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't do any of this to do this, and all of a sudden I'm like doing the pump stuff. So I still tried to be real about that, and it hindered me a little bit. You know, when you had all those shutdowns, people don't have gyms, you don't have home workouts. Okay. You know, and then they're coming back and everything, and you know, it wasn't that bad. It was just, you know, it started writing itself, but that's just is what it is. You know, anything, you'll have bad months. And it's not necessarily a bad month. It's down, and the next month it's up. And as long as you're doing daily workouts, which is key, you throw up an 8-week split, you throw up a 12-week split. I've already seen this whole effing thing.
Right.
I can see 8 weeks. I can see the 7th week. I can see the workout in 4 weeks. But when you don't know what you're about to get, you're hooked.
And that's literally how we found Julian.
So you get it? Do you post like your previous day's workout like today? Like so, whatever you did yesterday
I just posted my workout like a few hours ago.
that you did today,
yesterday.
that you did yesterday. Got
That's
it.
what we do too. So the
We're
day
always a
before
day
And
ahead.
you have? Do you show? Sorry, maybe I should be on your ass. Do you show?
I talked to Dave about it earlier.
Thanks for supporting me, Doug.
yeah. Bro, it's $6. Dude, I'm
Yeah,
not spending $6 a month.
Yeah. Cheap son of a bitch.
So does it? You show multiple? This is really for the peeps. You know?
Yeah.
This is. I'm trying to help you out here,
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
helping
yeah.
out you, dude.
Yeah, too. Yeah, well,
So like, tell me how it works. So you get multiple days, and then they delete, or only 24 hours. It's only that workout.
You can explain yours if you want. We're probably going to be a little different on how we do it.
Everybody does it a little bit different. For us, we have 10 workouts that stay up on the daily workout feed. We
And
also,
one drops off.
and then one will drop off.
You can save that if you
can
want.
save
You
them
can save those
as you
workouts,
go, or
but
put them in your calendar.
if you
or
don't,
favorite.
they drop off.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, and so like I just love training.
Yeah.
Like I love training, and this is why we were kind of talking about doing. And he tries to get me all the time. You should do an app. You should do all this stuff. And it's
You
just
should
like
do an app.
And I just like, well, my training's like kind of so different, and I also like I don't sometimes want the pressure. Yeah. Well, like I don't want the
Points to Julian.
I don't want the pressure of having to be like a certain variety. Like maybe for the next 8 weeks, you know what? I want to focus on just this thing, and that's what I want to do.
Do it.
But Doug, that's what I do.
That's exactly what we all do.
People will come over and be like, I think there should be more glutes. I'm like, this is my fucking workout, guy.
Exactly.
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Not to be rude, but it's like I straight up say in my app, I'm like, this is my routine.
Yep.
And you're seeing, because at the end of the day, I want to see what made you big.
Yeah, there's math.
I don't want to see what you think. I
So
should do.
how about what happens if you like injure yourself? You snowboard and you do a face plant and like you're
Put down the workout
and
that you would have
and you
done.
can't do neck work that week or something like. You put down a what?
I would. Sorry, I was just saying
Whoa.
I would like if I traveled for some reason and like let's say or Ohio when I was sick.
Yeah.
You know, you don't train that next day. You get the workout that Julian would have done because I have them all planned out.
Yeah.
I'm not making
And
up.
like you have a video library too, so you can like.
And think about
pull
this, Doug.
stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine the money you could do with like how these things can scale. Imagine logging on and working for 2.5 minutes and you just got paid all that money. 2.5 minutes.
Well,
It's not a 9
looks
to
like
5.
we're starting an
So,
app.
Doug-
DougMillerPro.com coming soon.
I think there's massive like, especially for somebody like you who's already has built the physique, built the business, you have the following. People value that what you're actually doing more than like what you would train them for a particular
Yeah,
thing.
bro,
They wanna
nobody
know.
cares what I would be. You want to like we always talk about like Platts or something back in the day. All the old school dudes. Like it's not an overthinking thing. I saw the dude that had gnarly legs and I just followed that. Oh, what do you do? I'll do that. You know what I mean? So you find certain things that work. Like I want to like if you look like what do you do for your arms? I want to do that.
I want Doug
I
arms.
don't even care.
Well,
if it's,
so what about like maybe you're in a split and you like, I mean, I know you change your split a lot, but like you're really loving the split and you want to do this
Extend it, yeah.
like you want to train in the same split for 6 months.
Extend it.
Put it in there.
It's literally.
I'll
so, like,
write in there and say that all the time. I go, I'm gonna go for another 3 weeks just because I'm
Yeah.
liking how I feel.
Yeah, we're
like how I
feeling
look.
good,
That's exactly
guys.
how
We're
it
gonna
is.
keep this. We're
People
gonna keep
love
going.
that.
It takes the hard work out of, like, and again, I'll go back to Julian starting this whole thing, but like, I'm an exercise science major and I thoroughly enjoy working out too. I say I don't most of the time,
Just got done saying.
but
But I really hate this.
It cuts to a video of him like I fucking hate what
I
do.
actually do most of the time. As I was telling Dave earlier on the way here. No, but I enjoy creating workouts. And for a while, when I was working at USAA, I hated my job. And it took that hard work of trying to create a workout. It took all that. I just showed up and it was there for me. You know what? Whatever it was, and it changes daily. And that's, again, it's his workouts. And if you don't like it, change something. Modify a workout that might fit to you. And that's
Still
what
personalize it as you go to you. I mean, we say that to people in our community too. Like,
Sam and I, we work out the same. They're the same workouts, but I can't do everything that she does. So I'll modify a few movements in the workout to fit me. And sometimes
you
our
wanna-
workouts change as we go. We're like,
Right.
that movement didn't fit right.
Yeah.
So we change it as we go if we need to.
And
Go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, and I always tell people like it's usually the rep schemes that I'm trying to keep the same. It's like you don't have to do incline machine press.
Totally.
Like there's rep schemes that I'm trying to hit in regards to my programming. So like you could totally change your workout, but hit those rep ranges. Just place other things in there you like.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's still like creative freedom for people, but you're just giving an outline, which is cool, and people love.
And also, one thing to touch on when it's your workout and not for somebody else, people would see you and they go, well, Doug takes his training very seriously. I know he's going to put himself through a good workout. Like, I think when people see you train or me, like, I always tell people, I'm like, I'm the test dummy.
Yep.
I'm making sure your workout's f***ing good.
Yep.
You're going to see me go hard, and you know for a fact that Julian is obsessed with his physique enough that he wants to see progress all the time. So you're getting that level of a workout. Instead of being like,
Right.
here's your workout, it's like, no, like if you're working hard every day for you to see results, then you know that somebody following yours is going to be like, that level of output is what I want.
That's why it's nice to trial the workouts too. Like people always ask, can you release the whole week ahead of time? And my answer is always no, because I want to go through it. I want to know, what the flow is like. I want to be able to change things if I want to change things. And if I haven't done it yet, like I don't want to just release it and say, what if I do change things? And then it's really not what I did at all. So there's just some there's little things that you can do to just, keep it yours.
But yeah, when you get those 1-star reviews on the workout, they're like, hey, you should do this different. And it's like, God,
bro,
this is our workout.
There's like a 1 through 5 star review. I get pissed too. There's like a guy will get on there, give me a 1 star because he fucking drank and was dehydrated. I'm like, sounds like you
Thank
messed
you.
your workout up, guy, not me. Sorry, you didn't like the
I didn't
hamstring
feel
workout
like
because you got drunk.
the intensity was there. And it's like, well, you control your own intensity. I can't
I don't know.
control
Wasn't
that.
feeling it today. Didn't have my pre. I mean about my workout, guy. Just kidding. But it's fun to see it, and you get to interact one-on-one. What's cool about the app is it's basically an untouched Instagram. So you have a shitload of people on your app. The second you talk to them, they see it immediately. It's not like a weird notification.
that chronological order on Instagram that's no longer there. Like
Yeah.
it's when you update something
they
new.
just brought it back.
Yeah,
They did. Yeah, I did just see
What
that coming
happened?
back.
What happened?
The chronological order is coming back to Instagram, so you can see. I think you can
You
select
can
it,
choose. Yeah.
what order you see things, so you can see it in a timeline like you used to
Either
be.
do like a favorites feed where you choose the people that you want to see,
Yep.
or they'll do chronological. And then he said something about keeping it still like them recommending accounts to you because they think it's important for you to discover people.
Go figure.
But yeah, to the app, yeah, there's a notification, so they get notified right away as soon as the workout goes up, so they don't miss them.
I will say one of the most underutilized things that people do nowadays is gather emails. Over the course
that
of
is so true.
Think about how many people over the course of like years that were signing up over on the pump, even if they left, we have those emails.
Yep.
And I forgot, I don't know if they're over on, I think it's over with Clifford that they discuss this, but they say that anybody who's ever purchased, they have like a rating about how much they do. Like, I mean, they follow around everything. And dude, it's pretty insane, man. You build up that email list, shut your fucking social medias off, and that's business, dude. It's crazy.
Well, that's the safe route because like social media,
Totally.
who knows? You could be kicked
Unpredictable.
off. You don't have zero
Look at
control.
Russia.
Be gone tomorrow.
Yeah,
They shut that whole thing down.
Exactly.
that's crazy.
And that's our only business. We run everything essentially off of Instagram.
point it was.
Now we're over to the app, but yeah, we have to think about diversifying a little bit, because Instagram could be gone tomorrow.
Well, I can't feel my feet anymore because of the cigar. And we're over an hour into this. Do you guys have anything else you would like to add? I know it goes fast, doesn't it?
I feel like David's got a question. I feel like you're
Dave's not
brewing
you
something.
burning desire.
No, I mean, I guess if we're gonna end it, I'm curious. You just kind of touched on it. Each one of you, do you guys have an end goal? Like, if Instagram ended today, what are you guys gonna do? Like, are you set up enough?
Well,
to
they
where you
have
don't
their
need
apps.
it? Well, they have the apps, but like,
You never stop working though.
Yeah.
I think
Correct.
if Instagram shut off, I would obviously still be doing my app. I think Arms Race is the blow up. I think Arms Race, I know Arms Race is going to be massive. It's going to continue to trend upwards. And I would not be surprised if we had even more momentum within the next year to have one of those, you know what I mean? And that's what I really want. But to be totally honest with you, I think if things ended and it was like these businesses were doing their thing, I'd have a little gym and work the front desk. I would,
Yeah.
man. I would be the dude who's walking around and being like, hey, you should do this with your elbows so you feel it in your chest more. Oh, cool. And you just keep moving. Like, I think that camaraderie of like old school bodybuilders, and that's why we have our open gyms where it's like, it's so packed, you're in each other's faces, but it's like, you can't help but get f***ing amped. You're not sitting on your phone. It's like nobody at that open gym had their phones open.
Yeah.
And that vibe of being around people that are kind of like, easy to talk.
Oh, I know.
We're all on the same page.
And that's why
It's nice.
that's what this is. We at the beginning, we didn't think we were going to open it up.
Oh, yeah.
And, because of our core values of building the community and serving others, like we opened it up. But like we had a lot of people, this is Statesville, North Carolina. Okay. Like the average income is like $30,000 a year household. Right. And so it's like, we got a lot of pushback in the beginning of, man, you guys are $60 a month. And we're like, yeah. And I was like, well, look at how much money is in this gym here. Look at the vibe is in it. And if you love training, I don't care. We have all sorts of people in here. We have obese people that really need help and work out here. We have hardcore. We have world's strongest men in here. We got professional bodybuilders. We have soccer moms. We have everything. And the thing in common is everybody wants the best for themselves.
Yeah.
And the community that we're building in there is really cool. Like sometimes we'll say, like, sometimes we take it for granted, but then like we'll have a bad day and we walk through there and we see everyone just amped and it's just like, this is cool.
But also,
We'll stop what you're doing in the middle of the day, like working, and then she'll be like, I'm going to just walk over and see what's up. And then you just end up in a conversation with somebody that just brightens your day.
but also based off of how well you are with putting out your personal vibe of core, the environment that you want around here, you won't attract assholes.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like when we go to the expos and when you're real and you're honest in yourself.
You attract assholes.
Hold on. Wait. One or two. I attract asshole. Asshole. But I think that when you're open and honest and you're like yourself, like the people that aren't your vibe, they're not going to put themselves in front of you. That's why when you walk out to an arms race expo or, core nutritional, it's just like you walk in, you see a bunch of Dougs. See a bunch of Sweens, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool.
Let's be honest. You see a bunch of Julians. You see a lot of Julians. You see a lot of Julians.
But I think it's cool.
You good, David?
I'm good, but since we said that, do we want to touch on the final?
Well, I mean, I can speak to my part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really to talk about. So, like, like the Eric Kanefsky thing, right? Like, I mean, maybe
Wait, I got a new name. It's Eric Klipneski, because that's all it is. It's little
He
clips.
just clips, takes clips.
It's little
from
clips.
I
and
can
not-
give a rundown of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get super into it.
Yeah, well, no,
No,
I mean,
it's not
so
that big of a deal.
first of all, I don't live in like the YouTube world. Like I just don't. Like I don't spend a lot of time. Like I'm like doing other things, right? Like, and I don't spend a lot of time in it. So like at least my involvement, and I want to hear like the full part, but like, you know, I know him to be a troll, right? Like that's what he does. He's got like a comedy platform, right? And you know what? Listen, you know, I do agree with like there is a place for comedy in fitness and stuff like that. The problem that I have, and literally I'd never have watched any of his clips until the San Diego Fit Expo, which was the first time I saw him in person. And we were sitting in the front row, and you were on stage, and people were asking serious questions about fitness, and you guys were trying to help him. And he comes in here, and he was literally trolling. And I'm like, okay, whatever, like troll and then leave. And then he like gets up on stage, and he's like literally, it was so uncomfortable. Like it was so awkward.
Cringe.
I wish people, I don't know if they played that, but like, I don't even know if that was in his video. I forget. But he was literally like flopping around the stage. He was on the stage like a fish on the stage while Julian and Sam were still.
Well, I apologized to the kid who asked the question. I'm like, I promise I'll stay after and talk to you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
So like, and it was just like, it wasn't funny. Like I can understand some of the prank things can be funny, but it wasn't funny. And it was like one of your first times doing an expo. So I felt bad for you. I know Julian's dealt with this stuff before, and Julian's a big boy. He like, you know, like I didn't really feel bad for Julian because Julian can handle it, right? Like
I had no idea.
No offense, but like I felt bad for because it was your first time.
I had no idea what was going on. I don't think I was like fully aware of that situation. So I was like, this is a random guy, and he's like,
You're like, is this part of it?
I'm
Is this
like,
part of it?
am I supposed to do something?
Well, so here was the other weird thing. So I did watch some of that video, and like, dude, there was like karate and taekwondo matches that he literally would go on the mat and interrupt their matches.
They were literally
and like,
fighting.
And if I was a parent and my son who has been training hard was like there for a wrestling match or something like that, and this guy was ruining his opportunity, we're like, who knows how long these kids have been trained for that? Like, that's not even freaking funny. It's just fucked up. And so like, that's the part that I was like, man, this guy, in that sense, it is no good. So when he showed up at the Arnold, I just went up and talked to him. Like it was the first time I ever talked to him. I was like, hey man, like just not today, man. It's just like, what are you going to accomplish here? It's funny because I was talking to his cameraman, and his cameraman kept on apologizing. He's like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, he's not going to do anything. It's just like, and I was like, and I said to him, I said, like, this is really what your life is. Like, you want to be the cameraman to film this? Like, I was like, bro, you're better than this. I was like, and then we started talking about him being an arms race ambassador. He's like, well, what do you pay? I was like, well, it depends on how good you are, you know? And he's like, all right, we'll talk. What's your Instagram? And like fist bumps me as he leaves. But like, he was almost, he was cool.
He looked ashamed.
He was ashamed.
His
and I was
face
like,
was red.
And and I was just like, he felt bad because it was just stupid. And like, I haven't even watched like my clips because I'm like, I'm sure he's gonna chew it up, whatever. I was like, dude, just don't be here, you know, like nothing good's gonna come of this. I was like, I'm not gonna stop you from talking to Julian. Julian can handle himself, right? And he's like, you saying Julian can knock me out? And I'm like, I didn't say anything. I was just like, you know, it was just stupid. It was just like, it was trying to get that going, and it's just like, yeah, it was just stupid. And I was like, at the end of the day, these people are here. We've worked hard to build this business. And if you're going to come interrupt that, I was like, I take it personally because like, it's not just Julian's business you're fucking it up. It's my business. It's my family's business. It's your business who gets their salary paid. It's your business. It's like, you're affecting a lot of other people in a negative way. And I just don't want that. All those ambassadors there that for the positive thing. And so that's what I was like, dude, just not today. You know, and so like, and he's got enough of a reputation of screwing things up, then that's why the police came over, right? Like that's
one thing, and then I actually want to touch on the first interaction so people actually know why any of this is happening. But at that thing, the expo where he interrupted the MMA fighters, he made that comment about, because he was pretending like he didn't know why they were fighting. He was like, I was just trying to break them up. That's what he was trying to do. And then he goes, and he told the security guard or the guy that was trying to calm him down. He was like, if you need, I'll come back with my AR. He said that in his video. He threw it up multiple times. Yeah. And they were all saying that I was the reason. You even said Mark made a comment that I was the reason why the cops were called and everything at Ohio or whatever. Yeah. Dude, I've been so far out of any of these things.
I didn't even know if you knew he was there because he was like
I didn't
around
know
the corner.
until afterwards. I didn't. Yeah. So at the San Diego, his actions at that MMA thing, the director contacted, I think the Q&A thing, the people that ran that, and then I think it was one other booth that ran like the security around there, and he was like blacklisted because he mentioned a gun.
Yeah.
Oh,
He mentioned
yeah.
bringing a gun back to
Yeah.
a crowded arena. That's not, I mean, good joke. Anyway,
Wonderful joke.
but
That's
just,
funny stuff.
Just to
Good
take
one.
it back so people understand, and we'll
Yeah.
keep it short. At the LA Fit Expo, Case and I were there with Clifford. We ran up and did.
How long ago was that?
This is right before COVID.
Okay.
Right? It was literally the day Kobe passed away, or his plane crash, or his helicopter crash. It was a crazy weekend. So we're at a Q&A. There's 40 people in this Q&A. It's what do they call where they have little ropes?
Cordoned off.
Yeah, it was just like you had a little section of the people that were there for that Q&A. And the deal was for the people that got there and they were part of the Q&A asking me questions, the people that were there got to be in line first and get, first in line, right? And then they said people that were around, and there wasn't a lot of people around, but they said the people that were around, like peeking in, who's this guy, what are they talking about? They're clearly able to jump in and do the Q&A as well, or talk to me afterwards or say hi or whatever.
Right.
So the last question of that Q&A, somebody asked me about trolls. They were talking about what I thought about, these online videos, people trying to get content out of you. And, we were just talking back and forth, right? Ended, cool, thanks for coming over, guys. I guess we'll get this going over here, and thanks for coming over, guys. I turn over, and he's the first guy in line.
Did you know who he was at that
No,
point?
I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't. So he comes over, and then, hey, man, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. I'm being super friendly. I'm sure that's, all cut out. But so everything's cool. And then he pulls out, he goes, how tall are you? And I go, 6 foot. And he pulls out the measuring tape, and I'm like, oh, man, he's okay. I don't lie. So he
Right.
pulls it out, 6 foot. That's what's funny when people write on the thing, and they're like, dude, like, why'd you get so butthurt about doing that?
Yeah.
He cut the video because I wasn't.
Yeah.
I nailed my height, and I nailed this. And I think what people are missing is I realized that he cut all those people. There
Yeah.
was a couple people behind that were like, he's not in this. He
Yeah.
wasn't here. He came in with his, and then I saw the camera crew that were not in there. One
Yeah.
guy was there, but it was very like, you cut these people, and we just talked about it because I asked him.
And
I
they
go,
paid. They paid to be there.
Yeah, so it was kind of, it wasn't
Yeah.
the end of the world, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it was just kind
And
of
then
like,
he asked you your weight, and you stepped on the scale. And
he
you,
asked me my weight, put the scale down, and he goes, and I go, it's not on. And he goes, we have to zero it out. I go, you do it. Like, he was like trying to make me do his work, and I
Yeah.
go, you do it. So he goes down and clicks it, hops on, 212.2, nailed it, like I said. I think I was over. I'm like, woo, bulking.
Yeah.
But it was just like, yeah, and it was like, and then when he realized that I wasn't lying, he was nice. He was like, oh, man, I got this idea from Rich Piana, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that doesn't change the fact that if I was caught in a weird situation, you would have outed my ass and been really rude.
Yeah.
Like, you came up to catch me off guard
Yeah.
and get me content on your page to make me look dumb. And to be honest, Kenny KO, that guy harassed my ass for, multiple years, doing videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And remember when we were at that Olympia with Kenton?
Yeah.
And I wrote him nonstop. I'm like, I'm here for the drug test. We shook hands. And I told him, I go, when I pass that drug test, you got to delete your YouTube channel. I go, that's the deal. We shook hands. I have the video.
Yeah.
And he blocked me on all the accounts, blocked Arms Race, and I haven't talked to him for 3 years.
Yeah.
So when that thing happened with Konevsky, I was just, I lost my cool because I was like, I just want to freaking tell you that I don't like this, man. And that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
when he came to the San Diego and he was on stage, he was like, why did you want my video taken down? I go, because I hate this content.
Yeah.
I don't not like you. I just think that the fact that you make money because these people at this expo's names are in there.
Yeah.
And you're making them, people want to come over and see this guy get trolled or come over and see that guy look like an idiot. It's just, it's not that I don't like Eric. I just don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't say anything negative about him or anything like that, but it was an altercation, and unfortunately there was a few people with me that got puffed up even more, which got me puffed up.
Yeah, yeah.
Puffed up, but at the end of the day, like, I wasn't trying to be rude to him. I just didn't like that type of content, and that just is what it was. And then that has led to this. I haven't gone up to him once ever since, and
Yeah.
it's just still trying to get a rise, but it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was there. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
The
unfortunately,
whole thing
he's
is,
being-
it's really,
Wild.
Yeah.
it's really just stupid.
But
like
it's also a very weird thing when, that's what you do is film these people. He's also a bodybuilder. He's a big dude. It's like, dude, you're blacklisting yourself from the place where your people are.
The thing I
Like,
couldn't
you're-
imagine, I couldn't believe he was 25 years old.
Oh,
Is that
no
true?
way.
He's
I don't
27,
know.
25. Dude, he looks like he's 40 years old. I mean, it's crazy. I was like, man,
I
you got
had
better
no-
chill on the juicy juice. I mean, that's not doing well with the aging. You know, a little collagen or some hair, skin, and nails might help. I mean, but no, I mean, and honestly, like, I really don't know him as a person. And like, we had some like normal conversation. It wasn't like, I wasn't like yelling at him. I was just,
you shook his hand. It was.
yeah,
great.
I was just like, you know, whatever. So like you said, like, it's not like I don't really know the guy. It's just the content is like, I didn't want him coming in and doing what I saw, like flopping around like he did when you were on stage and like interrupting these karate matches, threatening people with an AR. It's like, we don't need that here. Like, right. Like, it's just like not cool. It's like anybody who was in our position would have been, well, some people probably would have lost their cool, but like would have been wanted the same thing. Right. So like, yeah, the whole thing is just kind of funny that like, and I get it because, like, I think people just want to have that drama. They just want to create the drama for the views and all that stuff. And it's just like, we do legitimate business, not troll business to get views, right? Like, and that's just a different way we operate. It's
Trying
not
to help people.
And I think what's hard in those situations, like, you know, they were all, you know, they'll make fun. They'll say, you know, they were saying stuff to you like, who are they really helping? Or like, oh, really, you guys? I've seen a lot of people say that, like, you know, everyone at these expos are laughing stocks, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, dude, if we go there and we're spending, you know, 5-10 minutes talking to somebody who wants to talk, it's like,
Worth it.
I don't really care if you think that that's stupid.
Yeah.
It meant a lot to that person.
Yeah.
And it meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I flew over here to talk to these people, like, not be on your video when I didn't want to. And it's not because I'm a pussy.
right.
It's because I'm 34 years old and I got kids at home and I'm not here to talk to you, guy.
Yeah.
I want to go home after this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't want to do this. When I get done here, I want to go home. So it's not really shade. It's not really that I hate him. It's just I don't like that, I don't know,
There.
negativity.
I think we
Into
spent
it.
enough time talking about him. I don't,
Hey, you
I
brought it
don't
up,
know.
motherfucker.
I just meant the time limit. Time limit of talking about him. You know, he got his name on here. He's there's his click.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll take this and cut it up.
They'll
in a
cut-
way, and
No, we got the
we'll
video.
chop
We'll-
it. And
we'll
we got
post
the
this
video.
video.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's a wrap. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate
having
you
us.
guys as always. Until next time. Man, I can't even speak. I think that cigar really did mess me up. Until next time, guys.
His tongue's numb.
Keep crushing.
Which one? You.